My name is Fett. I'm a former professional Rainbow Six Siege coach. I previously built the, at the time, best Rainbow Six team in the world. And today we'll be reacting to MingoJce. I'm not really sure how to say his name, I'm sorry. But word around the block is he's the #2 best controller player after Stompin', right? He's a very close contender. And that he has the best aim on controller. So today we'll be watching him. We'll be seeing, what he's good at, what he's not good at, and how big the gap really is between #1 and #2. Okay, I really hope that this is like a match point already, so this is a rank clip, so it's not really a tournament clip. But I really hope most of these clips are tournament clips, because once again, I think ranked is just, not a good indication. So already, damn. So already, lots of pretty good gunfighting skills that I'm seeing in this clip. So as you can see in the beginning of this clip, he gets this first kill, and he's kind of backed into a fucked corner right here. So where the warden, can swing out wide and kind of press him from any angle that he wants. If Mingo decides to swing out, or if he stays in the corner, he just gets pre-fired, and he's kind of absolutely So right here, what does he do? He's gonna pre-fire entirely while swinging out. Right, he's gonna keep unloading his entire mag while swinging out, because that warden could have been anywhere. He's covering all those options, and he does the same thing once again when he clears the second rotate angle over here, as you see right there. Right, going into bathroom, the other person that he knew was pushing him, he's pre-firing as he's locking onto this angle to clear the angle, and then because he slowly scans across this open doorway right here, he's able to take the next gunfight on the frost behind this wall and isolate for the next gunfight. So really good gunfight thing. And that's just a nasty those are just nasty micro flicks, honestly. Really beautiful out of him. All right, so this is a tournament because it's 4 rounds. Yeah, this is good. 1v3 scenario. The fact that he 180s right there shows insane composure, right? Because basically in this situation, the enemy team is no joke, right? Yeah, Richie, I think that's how you pronounce it. They're actually a well-named stack too, so they know how to play this game. So because of that, they're gonna go for a refrag on this guy, which is the moment Richie hears, or whoever on the hatch hears, the guy taking a gunfight bottom blue, he's gonna drop the hatch because he's gonna assume that his back is turned, right? His back is turned, he's gonna assume that, and he's gonna try to go for the perfect refrag here with the best chance case scenario. Mingo knows this, so he goes for the gunfight. He doesn't even finish the gunfight, and he immediately turns around to look for the drop. He doesn't even finish that gunfight either. That's just pure composure. Pure composure out of him. Goes for this guy. 180s again. He's in the zone, in the pocket. Damn. Yeah, really good composure there. And you can hear the reactions in his stack too. I mean, it's well warranted, because that was a really impressive clutch right there, in my opinion. Is that guy on the window just asleep? This guy on the window is just in fucking La La Land looking at nothing, I guess. One habit I'm noticing that he does is this is the same habit that Shaiko also does, is he likes to use like hip fire sensitivity to reposition his crosshair a lot, and I don't know anything about his sensitivity or anything, but it's like a preference of players. It's not really like anything in particular that's crazy, but as you can see, he's quick scoping this guy, and then he un-ADSs and re-ADSs onto this top hatch right here, right? So he un-ADSs 3 times in this clip, right? When he's dropping the hatch, he quick scopes in, great transfer. That guy on the window is absolutely horrible. On ADS, quick scopes that guy. On ADS, quick scopes that guy. So that's just a comfort thing. Especially if you have a lower ADS sense, and your scanning sense is kind of well, you can't really look that far. If you want to hit a wider adjustment, you're just on ADS really quick, and it won't affect your ADS time really all that much, and you can hit on a different angle. You lock onto a different angle you want at a faster time. So that's just a habit that I'm noticing him. He's really prefers these quick scope adjustments, and he's really accurate with them. This clip honestly just shows kind of I don't want to describe it, because I know he's worked really hard for his skill set, and I know he's played a lot. It's not just what I'm gonna say, but to the general public, I would describe this clip as showing something called the genetics, right? So reaction, literally pure reaction time, and just faster handling of like his mechanics, right? Like twice in a row, this really tight pixel that, you know, the enemies are thinking, like they're literally thinking, they know he's there, they're coming into this doorway aiming at him because he did probably impact this and made some sound. They're probably aiming down this way and, or trying to run past this angle, like he's not gonna hit me, right? There's no way he hits me crossing this door, and he's hitting them, right? With like insane reaction time, insane pre-firing, and this guy just gets smoked. That's just pure like out geneticking the enemies, honestly, if I had to describe it one way or the other. So oh shit, I think this is against the pro player, the SSG game, against the pro players. Yeah. Oh my god, he's shooting their bodies. That's crazy. And even though the pros are trolling, it's like they're still these clips are still impressive just because the pros are still playing with their same, like, you know, hands, their same mouse, their same keyboard. I think like this clip goes to show like how good he is at punishing aggression, right? It's not like you can just like ego chow this guy and like get away with it. Like I think with his reaction time, with his capability to aim and hold angles, like if everyone's saying like he, you know, supposedly has the best aim, like he's abusing that to punish people as they over aggress into his angles, right? Anytime you cross into Mingo's angles, you're gonna get fried no matter what, and that seems to be like his, you know, his big strength here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a couple pretty far down the hallway. That's it? Okay, that's all the clip is, I guess. That guy is running to God knows where, his grandma's house. And he's actually playing this quite well. He's quite well, yeah. He's playing this very, very well, actually. In this scenario, basically what's going on is that once the enemy has doing a backside execute, or essentially before this, like if you want to plant on this doorway, you need to make sure no one can get into hallway or into freezer. So you have a guy down here looking down this control, and then usually sometimes you have a guy here like locking down this rotate all the way down to hallway to, you know, cover the cross. Or just doubled up with the planner. So that's why he's checking to the right first, right? Which is really good for him. So he checks to the right, and then in a perfect scenario where the enemy team isn't, you know, a bunch of clowns, they probably get this plant down, but this guy decides to run down the hallway. But that's actually a really nicely tracked shot on someone while they were sprinting. Yeah, wow. That was a full sprinting shot, just, you know, very nice. And now because that hallway guy is dead, this planter is going to hesitate, right? Mingo knows this, and Mingo knows that they're going to get off the plant over and over until perfect cover is established, like until the next person rotates back into the hallway position to cover that, or starts making holes onto like the soft wall right there to cover the swing. Mingo knows that this planter is still scared and is going to be checking for a swing. Right? He's scared, he's gonna be checking for a swing, so he's gonna make a bunch of sounds, shuffle right here, but not actually swing anything. And this guy actually throws. This guy actually completely throws, but Mingo perfectly punishes that. Once again, making sound, not actually doing the full swing, and just, yeah, baiting him out into swinging. Beautiful job by Mingo there. But I will say, like, right here, this is a lesson I kind of want to give to all the players out there. This guy completely throws around. You should always bait the planner 2v1, right? Because if the planner dies, and then you know where Mingo is, then you can get a refrag from this hallway, right? If this guy just simply waits or makes holes on this wall and baits the planter, he can get a really, really guaranteed refrag onto Mingo, as opposed to, right, he swings out, Mingo kills him, and then Mingo knows exactly where the planter is. The planter's, because you always know the planter position, right? Like most of the time you'll know the planter position, right? So you should always bait your planter, in my opinion. Oh my god. I see where the best aim talks come from now. He's actually extremely impressive aiming with the controller. And he's really, really good at looking for the next frag and the next frag and the next frag after that too. Wow. I mean, these guys are just running at him though. Like, come on. They had what? They had like a 4v something, 5v1. It was a 5v like 2, and they're just all sprinting at Mingo. Granted, very, very impressive still, just punishing all of that. And I think this is actually like, you know, I'm noticing a lot of these clips are clutches, and I think, you know, that is the type of player Mingo is, right? If we were kind of to do a comparison between, you know, Stompin and like Mingo, like Stompin's kind of like an entry, right? Stompin is like your hold on, Stompin's like your gap take entry, right? And you know, gap take, lurk maybe, and then Mingo is like your mailbox, right? So what does mailbox mean? Mailbox means, you know, you're a high survival rate player. It has nothing to do with insulting anything. It has nothing to do with putting down the skill set. It's just an entirely different skill set. Mingo's playstyle is simply being, you know, alive a lot in these clutch situations, being able to punish aggressions like we saw earlier, right? Like he's always able to punish aggression. That's the biggest thing. If you overstep on Mingo, he will fry you, right? Maybe he's not as proficient as Stompin in creating space within the round, but in these last scenarios, he's extremely like high likelihood of clutching, a lot more so than a player than Stompin, because he's so composed. He'll punish you, he'll isolate your 1v1s one by one if you don't play a perfect crossfire, and like on attack he'll play like more cut rolls, maybe more sentry turret rolls, and really just lock down areas of the map. Yeah, so definitely more like a mailbox, like low movement, you know, really high aim skill. And if I were to compare him to a player, like a really good, you know, NA player, like who was a mailbox, you have NJR, right? He's an extremely talented NA player. Some would say he's like a lot of people claim him as like the best North American player, and he's a mailbox. He's a high survival rate, high clutch rate, you know, like last alive a lot of the time. But when he is last alive, he has a much higher clutch percentage than if like any of the other players in his stack. Yeah, and another clutch scenario. I'm pretty sure his Mozzie is gonna die here. Yeah, this is actually really good composure out of him. In this execute, you're gonna have two players coming down the staircase, one dropping the hatch and one coming from bunker. So knowing this, he's letting the Monty, he knows the Monty didn't look at him, he's let him go down and try to get, you know, from this power position, a lot of picks off it. Yeah, one drop the hatch. There's the Monty, he downed the Monty right there. He downed him. Holy fucking shit. That's impressive. That's sprinting across the doorway shot. Yeah. His tracking game is just really immaculate. He hit down 2 now. And now the last person dropped the hatch. Yeah. And he knows exactly where the execute's going to come from. He, you know, chooses to find some all position. He lets the Monty walk down. He swings out bunker immediately afterwards because he knows, you know, that's where someone is on the execute. This shot right here is just talent, right? That's, you know, just raw aim.
Thermite? Thermite?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's thermite. I know, I just shot one of them, you dumb. Yo, hold this, Dixie.
What's going on in this clip? You know, I actually do have something to say about that clip, because, you know, him having a good time and laughing, you know, it's all fun and games for the viewers to watch, but this is so important in any team environment, right? Is like having dudes that will, you know, lighten up the mood, take things not seriously, just like kind of push people around. And I think like him and Stomp, like we can see in their comms and stuff that they're like, you know, they're talking to their teammates, they're letting them know what's going on. And they're, you know, just overall great teammates. I think that's so much more important than just being like a silent fragger, right? Like as we discussed in the other reaction, right? And you know, that's actually the strength that JinxC has as a teammate, is that, right, he's always loud, he's always encouraging, he'll hype you up no matter what. Like every time, like people perform better with JinxC, because think about it, if you get a kill, if you get a clutch with JinxC and he starts screaming at you, hyping you up, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna feel unstoppable, you're gonna want to get more, right? So it's like, that's kind of the importance of, like, you know, just being a great teammate, right? Because if you drop 20 a game, but you are chalking the rest 4 players of your team, you will lose every single game no matter what, right? So I think, like, you know, if we were to analyze that, like a player like JinxC, why so many talented people decide to still play with them? Yeah, like, you know, they love him and he's a big content creator, but also like he's a good drone, he's a good support player, and he's always keeping the energy up. Every round they lose, he's like, you know, let's go next, let's keep focusing next. He's not letting the comms get chalked. He's always keeping the energy high. He's hyping you up. You know, he's giving great callouts, and I mean that's just the value of having a good teammate like that. And he angle danced around that guy. On that mute, he kind of like dodged and weaved around the bomb right there. And these are just... Oh! Yeah, these are mostly ranked clips, so it's like... You can't expect these guys to do anything. I honestly, like, if you just showed me his flicks, I would not be able to tell he was a controller player, actually. I would not be able to tell he's a... Yeah. Damn. His reaction times are so fast. So fast. And he's super clean. Alright. That's good, right? Once again, like the same thing I was talking about earlier, can I get help, right? Like he's in the comps, he's involved, he's making sure his teammates coming to him and they're playing around him.
Can I get help? Oh my god. Alright, bro. Alright. Calm. Mingo's the fucking king. Let's fire him.
This clip's actually really impressive. This clip's actually really impressive because essentially the enemy is doing what's called the admin overtake here, which means like this side of the map that he's on is admin, right? So 3 of their teammates are literally there. That's the main side of the push, and he's completely isolated with like very minimal setup. So he, you know, takes a chow on this guy like as he should, and based off that decision making, he's gonna actually retake into this space called break right here, right? He's gonna retake into this space right off that kill. He's not gonna overextend though because he knows the rest of them are still here, right? So he's gonna take a little bit of space and use that space to get more, right? And now like what was a 3-man push on this side of the map has now completely crumbled because they're unable to clear this guy out. Yeah, very well done by Mingo right there. Yeah, and this is what I mean by the mailbox, right? He's literally a sentry turret. Like, he opens the walls, but instead of immediately challenging the walls, he immediately tucks up. And, I mean, the clip cuts, and he's still here, right? Yeah, this is just the type of player he is. Exactly what I was describing earlier. He's a mailbox player. He's just literally, like, a sentry turret on like, certain positions of the map. And he just punishes you for, you know, overstepping, basically, into his lines of sight, right? I think this clip actually perfectly shows kind of his quirk per se as a player, like kind of like a quirk that he has to get like freebies, like a type of kill that he knows he can get and it'll be free every single time, right? That's this angle. Traditionally a player would hold like a very tight pixel, like almost like cutting off the mirror, and then wait for the player to cross through the pixel and then swing out and pre-fire into it. Mingo's holding it wider, right? He's holding in the middle of the doorway, and he's, you know, he's not actually holding a super tight pixel, and he's waiting for a guy to kind of guitar hero their head into his crosshair, right? Because he knows he can react so fast that anyone that crosses into this angle, he's placed it his crosshair perfectly so that he can react instantly and just completely demolish them. Right, that's kind of like the kill I've noticed so far, especially in that Mozzie CCTV clip, that like Mingo is super confident that he can get, right? If Stompin's quirk is being able to pixel perfect challenge really tight pixels with pre-fires, Mingo's quirk is kind of like guitar heroing angles, holding them a little bit wider than usual, but knowing he can react so much faster than you to the point that you don't have a chance.
Alright, Stompin, you wanna make noise?
Stompin, do you wanna make noise? Is really good. That's really good. Yeah, that's an insane shot. Holy shit. But that's really good right there, right? Like, you have a lurk, you're asking your teammates to make noise, you're not just gonna go quiet and go for the lurk by yourself. Great comms again. Once again, these two players just, I think people should really take more from their communication, how good of teammates they are, than, you know, than just like carrying every single game, because they're setting themselves up, right? It's not just I'm gonna go and be quiet and demolish everyone. It's, hey, like, drone for me, make noise for me, I'm gonna do this, blah 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 blah. Like, really just playing around your team to make sure you have the opportunity to be as proficient as you can. That was an insane shot, actually. Yeah, I actually, I don't think, like, if you just showed me like the flicks part of his clips, I don't think I would be able to tell he was a controller player. And he's just walking into garage against a double garage setup. Wow. Yeah, his aim's so good. And right there, too, you see... just fully chows this. This is more of an entry type clip, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was like ranked or something, but that flick was nasty. That flick onto that one was actually insane. And he's just fully challenging, noticing that. Yep, and he un-ADS's. If you notice, like for the wider one, like the smaller flicks, he's keeping it ADS. But the wider one, he's un-ADSing, going back in, and that's his habit, right? Like I mentioned earlier, he's going for the kind of the quick scope kill. He's very comfortable with adjusting that way. This is actually like a gift that occurs. You can tell he's so comfortable with tracking the opponent that if he misses that first placement and he's a centimeter off, he's staying a centimeter off because he's so like it's so muscle memory to track at that velocity. That's hilarious. Yeah. So this type of position is like a perfect position you would put Mingo on, right? Like a mailbox player. Is this death spot position, kind of like in library / top mezzanine, either or top blue. Probably started in library, honestly. That right there, like. This is like just a heavy util. You see how much util like they're putting in a zombie disc here. They're putting a top mezzanine. They're putting two like over here. They're putting a shield right here, right? They're probably stacking one of my discs over here and stacking it in library corner. This is a death spot that you kind of want to play towards the end, like for the entire run. And I'm surprised console even plays strats like this for the bar. And like this is a perfect position to put a player like a mailbox player who's like as proficient as sentry turret as Mingo is, right? Yeah. And like even in the shits, like the enemies, this is no joke at all because the enemies all pushing at the same time with util. They're just coordinating that shit, so that was good on him. Shooting bodies mid-death, hilarious. And he's always looking for the next one too. He always knows. Right there, you can actually see exactly what I was talking about earlier with the un-ADSing stuff. Is this first wide flick that he tries to go for while ADS'd in onto the Azami, he misses it actually. He underflicks and then he has to readjust, right? But that second guy, right? That second guy, he un-ADS's, re-ADS's, hits the quick scope that I was talking about. Yeah, he misses this flick. Quick scope and it's perfect, right? That's actually perfectly proves my point on his aiming habits. He probably has likely a lower ADS relative to what his hip fire is, and for that reason he loves un-ADSing, re-ADSing, quick scoping as his crosshair placement technique. But yeah, that was actually like literally a perfect display of exactly what I meant earlier. If no one was able to catch it. Overall, really impressive. Once again, like I said, like I would not be able to tell if he was not mouse and keyboard if you just showed me his flicks, right? His flicks are lightning fast and extremely accurate, so that's really good on him. He really, I think he does, live up to the allegations that he has the best controller aim, right? The best aim on console. I think that goes to prove a point, right? The fact that Stompin's #1, despite not having as good as aim as Mingo, it just goes to show, like, it's not an aim-based game. Right? If I took a bunch of pro players and I put them next to the top champions on PC and I asked them, hey, wouldn't like how many of these people like have better aim than you? It'd probably be like 90 plus, right? 90 plus out of 100 people would have better aim than the pro players. But simply speaking, like it's just not an aim game. It's a movement based game, positioning, game sense, out gunfighting. Gunfighting is not aim, right? Simply put. And the big question you guys keep wanting me to answer throughout these videos is, can these players go pro? Can they play in PC Pro League? And the real answer I will give you every single time is I don't know. Right? I don't know, because I could tell you if a Challenger League player or amateur player can go pro because they've played in that environment, right, with high level strategy, right? Yes, there's console tournaments, but the strategy on PC is much higher. The understanding of strategy, right? Like blueprinting stuff out, having a coach, making strategies that are meta and playing them in those positions and having the right comms, right? Yes, these top stacks know the right strategy, but most of the enemy teams that I watch in these clips really have no idea what they're doing. Right? So on top of that, not only that, but like if Stompin or Mingo decide to start scrimming with the pro team, like Do they hate it, right? Are they able to dedicate 8, 9, 10, 11 hours of their day to practicing with a stack, learning strategies, and still calm every single round of the match, you know, still give it their all, still like without streaming, without making the money off of it, still like have fun, be a great teammate, come professional, come ready to like sit themselves in the team culture? I'm not saying that they can't do that. I'm just saying if they don't, you know, if that's not for them, if that's not the life for them, then, you know, they're not able to go pro, not because they're not good enough, but simply because that's not the life for them. There are so many players, I could say hundreds of thousands of players have good enough mechanics to go pro. Like so many, so many. What differentiates, like every single Challenger League player in Tier 2 in North America at this point has good enough aim to go pro, no matter what, right? But it's not about that, right? It's about, you know, are you like a good enough teammate? Are you a hard worker? Do you have a good work ethic? You know, do you drag everyone else around you down? And, you know, that's really what you find out through being on a team environment for months and months on end. And that's just something they would have to find out themselves. So I will say the upcoming North American 6 invitational qualifiers are coming up. They are completely open. Anyone can register, and the tournament prize pool, if you make it and win it, is $3 million, right? So it's no joke. It's nothing, you know, it's no joke. It's worth competing in. I would say Mingo, Stompin', you know, if people really want to like answer the question, can they go pro? Can they go pro? This is it. Find, you know, a stack of ex-pros or content creators on PC to play with on this. Plug that controller into the PC and play the open qualifiers for the World Championship of Siege coming up around, like, I think January, February-ish time. And I think that will show whether or not they're able to compete against, you know, the entirety of North America that hasn't already qualified for the 6th Invitational. And honestly, if they can outfrag those stacks, that will prove it. That will be it. And I would love to watch that. So, you know, throw them a message at Adam and let them know in chat that that's what they got to play. And I would love to see that and break that down. Have a great day, guys.